Yeah, that's what when I was in high school, I didn't sleep enough. So I used to drink like they used to have I don't know if you had these down under, but like they called Mountain Dew Kickstarters.
We have
They're-
Mountain Dew. We don't. I don't know, like what a.
I
It
don't
might
know
have
if
been
they
like a particular brand or something of Mountain Dew.
yeah, well it was like I think it was like an extra caffeine like a Mountain Dew sort of energy thing. Man, I mean I drank those for a while, but it was eventually it was like this is probably just like killing me from the inside out. I gotta stop drinking these. I'm sure it was like a million milligrams of caffeine in it. But then like that's when I don't know, maybe my mom brought home these V8 energies at some point and I was like, all right, this tastes good enough that I can do that. I never got on coffee. I'll do chai, like a chai tea sometimes, but I don't know, I never got in on the coffee
Maybe
craze.
that's why you're so tired now, man. It's because you spent your whole school periods just jacked up on Mountain Dew energy drinks. Man, that shit's bad for you.
Oh yeah, dude, I would be super this is funny. I was always so tired at night that it was hard for me to get my homework done and like for me to work on my papers and everything. So I realized like my energy levels like went down through the day, like especially after like school and training and lifting and then I had to do my homework. So I figured out I'll just wake up earlier and I could do my homework before school. So I was waking up at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning to like do my homework to be on the bus by 7. And then yeah, no shot any homework was getting done at night then. And training wasn't overall that was just bad. So
Mm.
that and then that was perpetuated by Mountain Dew Kickstarters.
And
So
that's yeah. I remember seeing so many videos of like people who just drank like Mountain Dew. They didn't have any other form of liquid. It wasn't even like water. They wouldn't even have water. They just had Mountain Dew. And you had to look at like over time, their teeth just disintegrated and like just shocking, shocking. I can't get over how all. I mean, I can understand why it's still like there in our society. Coke and Pepsi and lemonade and Mountain Dew and all this kind of crap, but far out the like it's so detrimental, especially Mountain Dew. Like that shit is fluorescent. You put that in a dark room, you can see that. That's how bad it is. It's yeah. The only
it's like
caffeine that I get in my day is right here.
yeah, it yeah, I don't know. I mean like you can take rust off a bumper with Coke or something. I don't know. That's a really good test of how bad something is for you, but it's yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really. Part of the reason is like for me, caffeine later in the day. It's just
Mm.
I can't do it. But like some people just like hammer it like 5, 6, 7 Diet Cokes a day, and it's like a Diet Coke is probably a little bit better for you, or
Yeah,
maybe
nah.
it depends on who you ask. Um,
Coke in general is just shit for you. Like, don't the what is it? The aspartame, I think it is. Don't quote me on that, but there's like an extra additive that they put in, and that shit's horrible for your health.
yeah,
Like, just don't drink any of it, diet or non-diet. Like, just don't drink it. But it's pretty. I had a I had a we've got like these sparkling water things with like a little bit of flavor in them. Have you ever heard of San Pellegrino before? Surely you have.
yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool. So they're like the sparkling water, which I mean is still not ideal. And it's not like I have fizzy stuff all the time. Like I don't even really have can't stomach lemonade anymore. Coke I haven't had for like 15 or 16 years. I remember giving it up as a kid. I'm like, nah, I don't want to drink this anymore because it just tastes like shit. Um, but then like going back to your coffee, I had a coffee last night at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. We were at my in-laws, had dinner there, stocked up on meat. Oh, it was the best. And then got home and sat down for a little bit and chilled out. and then went upstairs and straight to sleep within like an hour and a half. It's like coffee. I could actually, I lie. I had 4 double shots on Saturday. So I had 2 in the morning, and I had 2 in the afternoon because like I was up early Saturday morning, and I started hitting like I don't know, I just started going down. And it's because I started training a lot more now. So like I'm doing a lot of, I started dense, and I've been doing just like, I don't know why, but I've just been doing a whole lot of like the interval running, with like 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off, of roughly 75-ish meters, and then doing 30 on, 30 off of like byline to byline. So like pretty much goal to goal, then turning back and coming halfway, which works out to be about 150 meters. And so going through 4 minutes of the first one, and about 5 to 6 minutes of the second one. So it works out to be like 8 reps for the first one and 5 to 6 for the next one. And so I've been doing like more of that sort of stuff. I've got this sudden urge to want to play soccer again. I don't know what it is, but I've got this sudden urge to play soccer again. So I'm like, let's go, like let's get moving. And yeah, I had those shots, and I was warming the team up on Saturday evening. It was like 7:30. Man, I didn't blink.
Huh.
My eyes were just like popping out of my head. And I walked in because the senior coach, he kind of like stays away and lets the assistant coaches and everyone do what they need to do. And I walked in, I was like, man, I felt good in that one. He's like, how do the players feel? Like, yeah, they were good too. But I was charging, man. That's like one of the only times I can remember where coffee is just like pick me up big time.
That's funny. How your knees feel when you've been playing and out there running and everything?
Running is fine, man. So running's fine, lifting's fine. Like, and when I say fine, I say like pretty much near perfect. Because I don't have the ACL in my right knee, like it's just about its hamstring strength now. So working back into getting the Nordics going, because I haven't, like with my training that I've been doing, it's been a lot of repetitive movements. So like, for example, for the month of March, it's been pretty much 50 pull-ups a day, plus accessorizing things that are going to help me with my pull-ups. So it hasn't really been a focus on like a broad kind of spectrum like me and what I want to kind of achieve. So the goal is dense for 12 weeks and then ramping it up and moving more so into standards. So this year is like, or the remainder of this year, the next 9 months is just like, let's just knuckle down and focus on getting as healthy as possible in terms of like the tissue, the joints, muscles, everything like that. Because the one, when my knee, when it goes, it's when it's a change of direction, because it's the fact that I don't have that ACL holding in that tibia. So because I don't have that ACL attached to the tibia pops out. So it'll like pop out, and then I'll need to pop it back in again, whether it's through force or just through like trying to wiggle my foot. So then it'll click back in. And it is painful when that happens. I mean, it's probably like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in terms of pain. And like, it's not like I know when it's coming, because sometimes like I get, like I've been doing some of the academy stuff that I do with the club. We're indoors, and I'm like getting onto the board. And I'm like, I feel all right here. I feel pretty good. And then it's like, as soon as I get too far ahead of myself, it's like bang, and it's like, all right, I got to sit down, got to chill out, got to relax. I can't go anymore. So it's just kind of knowing my limits now, and yeah, that hamstring strength is going to be vital. Like it is going to be the thing that is going to make or break. I think I had a chat with Keith a little while ago about it. He's like, yeah, just hit Nordics, but then it's like you can't stress that long range too much, too soon, too early. Because if you do, you're doing it every single day. It's like that's going to be a big blow. So just easing into it once, max, maybe twice a week, but like the gap between them is going to be something like 4 or 5 days. So there's like plenty of time for my tissue just to kind of settle down, chill out, and relax, you know?
Yeah. And you could do, I mean, like if you went into the gym and hit like a hamstring curl machine, you could do that much more often. Like you could do, a lot of times people who reach out to me, they're like, dude, my Nordics are so bad. They're like, I want to get them fast. Like, can I do them more? I was like, not really. usually I'll tell people it's like do your Nordics once a week and then hit a hamstring curl twice a week. Like if you could do a lying hamstring curl, like maybe Monday you do Nordics, Wednesday you do lying hamstring curl, Friday you do kneeling or something. Like adding those in, I think it's really helpful for people a lot of times. The other thing that is interesting is the way West Side used to do hamstring curls. Like they would do like 3, 4 sets of 50 with the band, but it's almost like you don't want any burn in your hamstring when you're doing it. You want it to be all connective tissue. Like it's not like the way we control eccentrics and then kind of explode in the concentric. It's like pop, pop, pop. So it's all like that tendon bouncing out of it. And I mean, you're always gonna have some muscle strain there, but it's like the same thing they used to do that with tricep push downs and the hamstring curls.
Are you
It's
talking about being so like imagine this is my hamstring here for those who aren't watching and can't see. I'm just moving my elbow and my hand back and forth. But this being like my foot and my knee joint, and then obviously up into my hip, is it sitting at the top here and pulsing up and down here, or is it just up and down constantly like this? So
it's
pretty much getting it.
it's still the full weight. So like generally it would be done like sitting on like a plyo box with like you have the plyo box with the empty space underneath. So you would just like sit there and just like pop, 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 pop. So you're letting the band pull you out and then like reactive pull back. Like the same way like if you're doing a pogo, like little pogo hops where you're kind of just bouncing on the floor, like it doesn't like kill your calf. Like it obviously the foot's gonna work quite a bit, but
Mm.
it doesn't have as nearly as much burn in your calf as it would like just doing like slow calf raises. So kind of similar idea with that. Achilles stiffness, hamstring tendon stiffness. It's not exactly the same, but it's another interesting thing to play with the over speed eccentrics and then popping out. So another
Yeah,
thing to mess around with,
I
especially
guess
if you
for
don't have a
me, like
hamstring machine.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like I guess that's what would be my go-to, unless I would go to the gym, which isn't that far away. Like I can still go to the gym and get. It's probably actually beneficial for me to go once a week to at least get into some of that hamstring curl machine stuff. And like moving it back, um, one of the big reasons why I want to return to football is you look at Ben, for example, and I know that Ben Patrick's been doing this for 10 plus years. And like he can show that like he's had multiple knee surgeries. He's been able to come back and play basketball at like what looks like a pretty serious level. I mean, if you can dunk, that's pretty serious to be able to do that.
He's
Not
good.
everyone can do that.
He's really good.
Yeah,
Into
yeah.
like for basketball players, like he's very, very good.
Like, and it shows. And you've obviously seen him play. And like we've had some great by we I mean like the myself and the young athletes who come and see me, we've had some awesome results together. And it's fantastic to have that. And then for me, it's kind of like I don't know. I was speaking with someone about this on the weekend. I'm like, I feel like I need to go back and play. So then maybe it's a matter of me proving to myself that what I'm doing is working, where it is working for like a lot of athletes that are coming to see me because injury rates are like down. Performance rates are through the roof. Like there's just been so much goodness that has come from ATG style training and then obviously coaching the athletes and them taking this into their game, whether it's pre-activation or things they're doing away from me. Like it's just having that constant little bit in their brain of doing particular things. Like guys are asking me, well, what can I do for this? Or what can I do for my knee? Or what can I do for my ankle, my hip? And it's like, when you're giving them these things and they're doing it away from training, it's like you can see those ones that are because they're coming back and they're just pumped and they're getting some really, really awesome results and they're playing. We so far still, and I keep going touch wood. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do that for, but we are in terms of when I say fittest, I mean the amount of players that we have to choose from. We've still had 21 players to choose from every single week out of a squad of 22. And the only reason why we don't have 22 out of 22 is from game-related injuries. So, for example, on last weekend, one of the boys went up for a header and contact in the air and fell over, rolled over, and medial ligament sprain. And so, like, his ankle just blew up. That's the only thing that we've had happen to us. Apart from that, there's been 2 soft tissue injuries, which have been in preseason. So, like, earlier on this year, which was 3 months ago, there's been like nothing. And like, I keep going touch wood, like, but it's like, do I need to keep doing that? Or is what these players are doing? And it's not even, I'm not even saying credit to me or credit to the coaches. It's actually credit to the players. The players are the ones that are driving it. The players are the ones that are doing it. Like, because I can go, hey, you should be doing this. And the coaches say, well, you should be doing that. And you should make sure that you're getting this much in and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, the players are actually starting to see value in what's being done and what they're doing, because all of them are fit. Like, every single one of them are fit. Sure, there's like the older ones with the aches and pains, and even some of the younger ones with the aches and pains, whether it's hips or knees or lower back from the turf, artificial turf, which you don't seem to have a problem with. But here it's like, it's running rampant. But yeah, it's starting to get less and less amazing and more normal, like, because we're getting such awesome results, both as a team and as individuals too, you know? So it's, yeah, I think going back again, it's almost like I want to go back and play because I want to do it on myself. I'm like, if I can do this on myself and I can come back and play, well, that is the pinnacle of like, this shit really works. And that's probably going to prove it inside my head. But it's already working. It's already working really, really well. So do I need to do that? Is it a bit of ego? Is it a bit of like, you know, like there's these other things into play? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But it's just such an interesting dynamic. Such an interesting thing for me at the moment. So I'm going all in, giving it a go.
Yeah, I mean it's Ben has put this out in the sort of ATG group chats before of like being the example of what you do for people, like no exceptions, like absolute, like I mean he that's him, like living that philosophy, and there's a lot of other people doing it, and it's I think it's something that everybody, it's like, yeah, you know it works because it's helping other people and it's working for other people, but like it means a lot more if you do it for yourself, I think. Like I've heard other people, like there's some other basketball guys and vertical jump guys, and they were talking about like full depth squats versus partials. And they were like, yeah, no, my knees hurt more on the partials than they do in full. And this was like totally not what they're talking about. But they're like, yeah, for me, the partials hurt way more than the full squats. It's like your knees still hurt. Like that was just like such a shock to me. Like you still have problems with your knees. Like I know Ben doesn't have problems. I know all the basketball guys there don't have problems with my knees. I don't have problems with my knees. Yours are right there. Just that little bit of change of direction at the super high level that might still be a problem. Like that is just in the last couple of years, that has become such a foreign thing to me of like telling people what to do and still having that issue. Like that's what, like when I played on Friday, and granted contact injury to the shoulder, and now we're not in a great place with that. But I mean, that was, now this sounds a little bit hypocritical, I guess, but that was the first time in a long time that I've played full speed and not have my ankle feel worse the next day. So like I've had a lot of times where it's like almost like I almost need to stop doing this because I know that my ankle isn't 100%. And like I know I don't have elite ankle ability in the same way that Ben has elite knee ability, or you look at other people like that. So like that's where my focus has been on. And it's like as I go through and as that gets better, it's like, all right, that means more to me to get myself to a point where it's like nothing is, like for me, nothing else is an issue. That ankle is still not 100%, but it's very clearly to me getting better and getting close.
Mm.
That means more to me than all of the academy players that are reaching out to me. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm getting way faster on this program. Like,
Mm.
that's obviously awesome. I'm super glad it's helping people, but like, what's more important to me right now is living it and being like, yeah, this was me in college, like total shit show. Now I can do whatever I want. Like,
Mm.
and even if you look at it in a business sense, like I seriously doubt Ben would be as successful as he is right now if he like couldn't dunk. Like if you take
Yeah,
dunking
imagine.
away from Ben Patrick, it's like who
Yeah.
this is just a guy who's like it's like a skinny guy with these weird exercises.
Mm.
But he's flying and Connor's flying and you got Mr. Infinity and all of these guys are just like slamming. So it's like that I like even if all the other guys were still getting results like that, and then Ben is like, yeah, bro, I don't do that. But all the other guys are dunking, and I was one that got that. It's like
Yeah.
the idea of being able to do it for yourself, I think is it.
I 100% agree with everything you just said, because so if you can be you want to be your own business card, like, and that for me shouts from the rooftop, like you want to be the person who can be electric on the field, who can dunk, who can, put in extra work, extra tackles, whatever it is when you're playing. Like there's all of these things that you're trying to help your athletes do, but then it's almost like you feel a bit fraudulent, like you feel like a fraud doing it, because it's like this stuff's really going to help you. I don't do it, but this stuff's really going to help you, ABC, and that's the way that I feel right now. So it's like, if this stuff really does work, which I truly believe that it does work, well, then there's absolutely no reason why I can't go back and play. So then, if that's the case, which it is, well, let's do it. Let's go, And sure, I'm up on a high right now, and everything's feeling just amazing, because it's like, yeah, it's what we're doing, it's what we're going, we're going to get it done, everything like that. But it's like it's progressive over time. It's going to take a while to get there, and I think a lot of people look at it and they go like, nah, tapping out. That's it. No, it takes too long. Don't worry about it. But it's like, no, this is all part of the drive and the journey. And why the reason am I helping people coach? And like, that's what I mean when I'm saying I feel like a fraud, because I found ATG right at the end of my career, like just after I had, just before I had, like a couple of weeks before I dislocated my tibia, like as in proper, and then that was it. It was game over for me. Well, what I thought was game over. But now it's like I've got an extra life. Like I've got an extra life, whether it's me thinking that I can do this, which it is, like, but then it's also being a part of the team. So having gone back and being a part of the group setup with the team doing exceptionally well. Like I said, injury wise, it's pretty much non-existent apart from contact injuries. But then just like the general group, being part of that group, you find your tribe, and being with people is just, with those types of people, and especially the young ones. I gotta give credit where credit's due. Like there's been a lot of the younger players that are like, man, what were you like when you played? Like, tell me what position did you play? I could see you was this type of player. Like and it's like, it's hard because it was 2 or 3 years ago, and I think back to the way that I was as a player, and it's like I didn't do anything exceptional. Like we've got some pretty high end players. I believe we have the best players in the league, and that's completely biased because I'm working with them and I'm part of that team. So I'm going to say that. And these players are like, they're coming to you and asking you, like, whether it's for advice or asking what it was like, or they're just wanting to build a relationship with you. And it's like, those players are the ones that have said, like, why don't you come back and play? And they're completely like unaware of the reasons why I had to stop. Like I had to stop because like my knee just kept falling to pieces. Like if I kept going, it would feel like I probably wouldn't be walking. That's how bad it was. It was getting. But it's like that. that naivety, or like being naive to it, and just kind of like saying, well, why not? And it's like, yeah, well, why not? Like, why do I keep making excuses for myself to say you can't? And I keep saying to people like, no, I can't go back and play because my knee. Can't go back and play because my knee. And it's like, well, what about your knee? You can clearly do something about it. So go and fucking do it. Like, stop saying, oh, my knee, my knee, my knee. Like, that's just, it's not working for anyone. It's not working for me. Like, I can't. And then, like I said, I feel like a fraud because I'm saying I can't do something because of my knee, but the things that I'm doing are helping people with that. So then why the fuck am I not doing that to be able to go back? Like, there's all these things that are just running around in my brain. So yeah, like I said, I got to give credit where credit's due. And those young players, I mean, if they listen to this, they listen to it, but they know who they are. And they definitely played a big role in me kind of having these thoughts and these feelings again. So I'm very thankful for them as individuals and as players because of their passion. The passion is what's driven me to want to do this again.
Yeah, and I mean, there's precedent for you. Like you wouldn't be the first person that I know to have come back from a full ACL without surgery.
Mm.
Like you're not the first. Like it's not that it isn't possible. Like your knee isn't built differently from other people. Like you could do it, you just have to do it. Like it's not like a 30-day thing where you're like all of a sudden like, oh, you're not gonna wake up one day and be like, my ACL's reattached. Like that's not it. It takes significant time. Like, but it is possible, and it's like you can get there. Will it take a year, 2 years, 3 years? I don't know. I haven't done it myself. I couldn't tell you. I know Chris Chris Page did it. Came back. I was with him at the expo, and he had just. I mean, he was in bad shape. He got cleaned, and it was like full ACL, I think PCL, MCL, partial, hamstring tendon tear, like like bad. No surgery. I think he's fully back now. So it wouldn't have been more than a year and a bit. A year, no more than a year and a half now. Maybe a year and 3/4. And like I don't know if he's playing full speed yet, but like no surgery. Corbin did
Yeah.
it. Josh did it. Like it's possible. It is very much possible, and that's one of the things that I have struggled with my ankle. Is like sometimes I feel like I don't have that precedent. Like I don't have like I can't be like all right. Chris did it. Was dealing with the same thing, and this is how he fixed it. Like yeah, and I don't. Not that I feel like my ankle is different from everybody's, but it's like I feel like when you Google what it posterior tibialis tendinosis tendinopathy, whatever, it's like usually like it's old people that deal with it. It's usually it's like your grandma that now has flat feet, and they're like, "That's what this is," and I'm like, "Well, I don't know," and it's not like it's yeah. So I mean, it's working. It's getting better. It's I played full speed. I could play full speed on it, and it doesn't kill me. So it's that last like 5% is always the hardest with these sort of things. And I'm sure that's where you're at too, maybe 5-10%, whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like it's that going from it's like, yeah, no, this is pretty good to like I can't hurt this if I try. That's where it takes the real sort of mental muscle and effort.
And like I could do all this too. Like, and you could do all this as well. And you go back and it could not work. Like, because maybe you're too far gone, maybe I mean there's a whole number of things. But the big thing is you don't know until you do it. Like you don't know until you know. So like I still don't know. So
I've
but now
I've
it's
yeah. I've tried
yeah.
a lot of things that I thought were the answer. And I was like, all right, this is it. I'm gonna be back. And then like go out and play and you're like, oh well, that wasn't the answer. Like
Mm.
shit now. Was like maybe that was like knocking off like a block. Like you have a key and like a key has all the different notches for the different levers in the key, and you're like, well, now I got one of them, so like it sort of unlocks the lock, but not all the way, and then it's like it happens again and again and again, and maybe it's like you needed all of them, or maybe it was just like placebo until it wasn't anymore for me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you never know
Well,
until you're done.
and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Like, you think you know, but you don't know. You need to do now. Now it's about doing it. Like, can you do it? Can you get it done? It's gonna be a lengthy journey, and it's gonna be really cool because like we're gonna have like the pretty much week by week little little check in, and to see where we're going, where we're at with it. Like it's a great way to stay accountable as well because it's very very easy. And I think it also can be a little bit of a cop out too, where it's like, nah, can't be fucked with it anymore. Nah, don't worry about it. We'll just chuck it into the bin. It's like, nah, like you've set your intentions. I remember when I did my first ACL, I had no idea what an ACL was, mind you. When I was 17 years old, and I went like it was the first. So I did it. Then I was on crutches straight away. I got told it was a kneecap dislocation. Then I got told that the kneecap dislocation was going to take 6 to 8 weeks to return from. And I was like, cool, no worries. Went to the physio. Physio said, nah, kneecap dislocation is going to be about 10 to 12 weeks to come back. I was asked, okay, so 3 months, it's not that bad. And then go to the doctors and it's like, boom, 12 months. I'm like, what? What is that? And as a kid, like, it's almost like your whole life has been ripped away from you because I played soccer up until then for 13 years, every single year. And then it's like, no, we're just going to take that away from you. Sorry, you can't do that anymore. It's like, shit, that hurts. Like, you can understand. I was speaking with someone 2 or 3 days ago. They just done theirs at 8 weeks post-op. And like physically, I feel fine. Mentally, I'm okay. But emotionally, man, it's a drain. It's a big, big drain because you just put all this time and energy into training. And now all of a sudden it's like, you got to put it into something else that you're like, I don't want this. From one aspect, it's like looking at it from a way or looking at it from a perspective where there's always positives coming from it. It's so hard to do that, but I've been there, so I know that I can do that. And you go ahead and you get into coming back from surgery, for example, and you start working your way into it. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to work my way through. I came back in 10 and a half, 11 months. And then the next time I did it, it was like, yes, I got like, all right, well, not really the yes, but like I got another challenge. All right, 6 months, let's do it. Come back in 6 months. And I pushed to the limit, like big time. I was on that edge. Like I talked to a lot of the athletes that I work with. Like you want to be on that edge as much as possible because if you're too far away from the edge, you're not getting that benefit. So like the edge continues to move forward, and if you're too far away, like you're not getting as much out of it as you can. You've got a lot of room to be able to work with. If you go over that edge, and when you go over that edge, it's like, well, push it a bit too far. Maybe we've got a little bit too much tightness. Maybe we do push it too far and you re-injure yourself or you hurt yourself or whatever. So like I was on that edge and it was 6 months, bang, back to training, and I felt unbelievable. And the same thing happened when it happened again for the right side. With the final when the ACL re-ruptured again. It's like we're going to go in, we're going to do surgery, we're going to do it this way, we're going to take the ACL out because we can't actually go in and replace it without borrowing. What's the saying? Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. Like they were going to take a significant amount of my patella tendon and the bone to be able to kind of plug up the holes. So we're going to do it this way and everything like that. And 9 months and I was back playing. Like I had quads that were just ginormous, So that's another big thing, not just quads, but upper legs where it's like, okay, I want to be like Roberto Carlos. That's what I need. I need to have Roberto Carlos tree trunks in there just to be strong and powerful and have absolutely zero doubt. But where I'm going with this is it's like you have to put the intention out there. If you don't put the intention out there, you're going to get nothing like out of anything. You can just go ahead and go through the motions, but the intention is what's most important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean, if it's important, then it's like do it. I think it's like a cop out again to be like, yeah, my focus now is on like helping other people, so I don't need to do it myself. Like, really, like I. And the other thing I want to like when we talk about being the example, it's like, yeah, the people you want to listen to are the people that can do what you want to do. But sometimes you have to look a little bit deeper into like, where did they start? Were they always there? Like, is this just something that you were naturally born with? Like, were you just a freak athlete from birth and you just never had any injuries? That's probably not necessarily the person you want to go to for advice. Like, I think I haven't been on Twitter in months and months, but I think I put out a tweet like a while back, and it was something along the lines of the people that you want to listen to are the people that started in a lower place than where you were at and then have greatly surpassed you. So, like, say you're somebody with knee problems, and it's like, all right, Ben had way worse knees than you do, and now could do all these things that you can't do, rather than like, this is just somebody who could do all these things you can't do. Like, that person might not be able to help you, but like, it's the same thing with like, if somebody was 24 and they were playing in like the 7th division, and then now they're 28 and they're playing in the 1st division, like, if they put in the thought of how to make that change, that's the person you want to listen to. Not like, not that there isn't things to learn from like an Erling Haaland or whoever that just was always the best player in their age group in the world forever. Like, yeah, there's things to learn, but you probably have more to learn from the person that put into the thought of how they can transform themselves from a bad place to great.
Yeah. Yeah, and like obviously those players who are there still have value, like they offer value. But I think like I do agree where you want to be with someone who has experienced similar struggles to what you have, because then you have more of like an understanding of how they may have done it or how they may have got there. Are you thinking about going back and playing semi-pro or anything like that for yourself? Like, has this conversation sparked any urge to want to go and play more, or are you kind of like, no, I'm out?
I'm playing this summer. I was always going to play this summer for, I guess you call it semi-pro. It's just like yeah, technically it's semi-pro. It's like college players come and play when they come back. Then you have people out of college that'll come play as well. Sometimes it goes year round, but the competition is the best in the summer when all the college guys are back. So I'll play then. Another point I want to make with the great versus not that great is like it sometimes people talk about this in basketball when you're like asking like a great player, you're like, so where do you look when you shoot? And they're like, I don't know. Like, what? They're like, how do you shoot? They're like, I just shoot. It's like, you can still learn from how they do it. You just have to like dig deeper and like maybe like you sometimes asking questions. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if I were to ask you like, how do you shoot a ball? You're like, I don't know. I just like kick it where I want it to go. Like, that's not to say like I might be getting away from the point here, but it's hard for me to teach somebody how to like kick a ball well, because it's like I just kicked it so many times that like I can kick a ball where I want it to go. If you were to have somebody teach you, it'd probably be better to have somebody that wasn't good at it, and then like consciously go through the process of how do I get better at this and how do I kind of master this skill, versus somebody that just did it so many times. I don't know. There's things both ways with that, but yeah, no, I mean I'm playing this summer either way, and I still play once or twice a week right now, so we'll see how the summer goes, and if I want to try and see what a full return would look like.
Yeah, like Australia is looking for some US imports. So if you get bored and sick of the weather up there, which it's like you said, it's getting better though, isn't it? Because it's starting to rain here now.
It's like 20. It's probably close to 20 degrees Celsius here.
Yeah, we're
Or
at
15 maybe.
Yeah, we're at 19 now. But it's been raining all night, and yeah, no thanks. No thanks. So you'd be trading off a decent summer for what's beautiful winter here. I think I'm doing a great job of selling it to you. We are in the and going back to your other point about me shooting, the only shooting I do is when it's a free kick from outside the box that just hits in pigeon. I don't know whether you've seen the reel on Insta or not.
I did the free kick.
You know
But
it.
what did it hit the wall?
See, I think the angle didn't do it justice because it up and down like an elevator, man. You know, just up, over, down. Yeah, and I honestly think it was going straight up and over. Everyone's saying, "No, it's going to hit the wall." No, I'm just gotta disagree, and that's not because I took the shot. I also had the person there recording who was like, "Well, wow, wow."
I don't know. I didn't. I only watched it like once or twice, but it depends on who's in the wall and if they jump or not.
Yeah, there's not many people jumping there. We actually scored one of our players in our team scored a free kick on the weekend. Uh, like he just passed it into the net. The ball was pretty much in the center of the pitch, probably no more than 5 meters outside the box. The ball was in the center of the pitch. The goalkeeper stood like right behind the wall, and he's just passed it, and it's just floated straight in to that side netting because like keeper couldn't see it. And like you have a look at people like that who are more kind of like intuitive and looking at the wall's set up here, the keeper's set up there. All I need to do is just like put it into that gap. But like that's a skill in itself. But yeah, what I'm getting at is like the only time I'm going to shoot is if it's meant to be a cross or if it's going to be a free kick, which I was never on free kicks, so I'd never be teaching anyone how to shoot at all. It'd be how to tackle, which is that's an art. That is an art. If you know how to tackle, you are an artist.
That I don't know how to tackle.
Yeah.
I
No strikers do.
no, I know how to be faster than somebody and get in front of somebody, but like beyond that, it's like I could poke the ball away. Like that was one of the things I noticed this weekend when we had the alumni game or whatever. We scrimmaged against the current squad, like the team, and it was like, yes, I was definitely rusty with like my passes, but very much still like I still think I was the fastest guy on the pitch there. Like I don't. I was going against some of the fast players, and I was still like, I know I'm faster than you still. So not that I was the best player on the field by any more. Like I wasn't close to the best player on the field, but it was good to see that like, yep, the athleticism is still there. Like I can still pass when I want to be fast. But then the cool thing with that is that like when you have a problem, you know you can get better. So it's like it's very clear that like, all right, get this ankle to the point where it can't possibly do anything wrong. It's like, well, it's just naturally going to be faster then. So it's the way it is. And then being sharp on the ball just comes with spending more time on the field. So
Yeah, yeah. I think with younger kids, there's there's so much football going on, and like they've spoken about it. The ATG roundtable with the Bens and Keegan and there's Marcel as well. They've spoken about it where it's like you have a look at all of these players who are pros in their sport now, who played other sports when they were kids. Like they experienced different things. Kobe played soccer in Italy up until the age of 12. Like that's the one that I can really remember. But then you have a look at like even Michael Jordan for his ability to transfer from basketball to baseball. It's like fuck, that's and be a boss at basketball. I mean, I don't know where he would fare on baseball, but I feel like there's such a great opportunity now for kids to be able to explore, and like kids between the ages of even 13 to 18, 19, to explore the inside of a gym from an athletic perspective. But I truly believe that there's so much left untapped, and had I had these opportunities too, like I'm quite positive that I wouldn't have experienced what I've experienced now, which the way that I look at it would be a detriment because I wouldn't be sitting here having a conversation with you right now. So that's one way to look at it. That's how I look at it. So to be able to actually get yourselves into seeing someone like yourself or like myself is going to be a massive step in the direction of not just because you might not play professionally. Like players, I think that young kids, they're disillusioned I don't know if that's a word, but like, you know, because kids are kids, like they just want to go, I want to go play professional, but they don't know the hard work that it takes. Getting into the gym and doing this sort of stuff will give you an idea of like, all right, this is how hard it is. This is the hard work that I need to do to put in, like the extras that you need to get done. It's just something that I feel needs to be pushed a little bit more rather than going and spending another 3 times a week doing academy work. Like you're already getting onto the ball enough. All you need to do is have the ball at your feet. Have the ball at your feet wherever you go, whether you're going down the street and you're juggling around. Like just having that touch for the ball will give you like the opportunities to be able to perform better and play better. And sure, I'm not saying academies are crap, but you've got, I think, better opportunity to play better if you're taking care of your body rather than trying to excel your skill development. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the other thing I think, and it was something that I kind of realized as I played around professionals more, it was like sometimes you just don't have like you could be great with the ball, and those are the things that are you can improve on. You can get more faster, you get more athletic, but there's also a mental aspect of it that not everybody has. Like I think the more time I spent around pros and other high level players, it was like I don't know that I ever had like the almost like an aggression sort of kind of thing that you need to play at a high level as a pro. Like it just wasn't something I ever had. Like I don't know, maybe it was the way I like was brought up or whatever, but it was like I'm not a fan of like getting into a hard tackle or like when we play in like not super serious leagues, like I'm not fouling anybody. Like I don't want to get into like a challenge like that. Like I want to do the fun shit and like throw it through your legs and run by, but like I don't want to like get down and get into you for like that 50-50 ball. I'd rather poke it by and run around. So that's something you kind of it's a harder thing to learn almost. And like if you don't it's not that you can't go and be a professional if you don't have it, but like there's a reason that like a lot of the pros are like hotheads and like getting into conflicts and like looking for the altercations. And then some people, if you're ridiculously skilled, you can get by without it. But even then, you still sort of have it. But not to say that that's like a real limiter for everybody, but like for some people it is. And I was gonna say something else, but no, I don't. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say, with your point on spending more time on your body, for me, the important thing with that is that it would have made everything else more effective. Like you miss less time, you could train more in that time, you don't have to spend the time coming back, you don't have to worry, like everything just becomes more effective if you stay healthy. And if you miss like 9 months at some point, it's like that's a really crucial 9 months if you're 17, 15, 16, 18, whatever. It's a really crucial 9 months. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that go with just being able to fully express your ability is a big thing.
Well, it comes full circle, going back to what we started talking about 50 minutes ago. With you become better as a team if you've got more quality around you for a longer period of time. Now, there's a reason why we're sitting joint top of the table, because we've had 21 out of 22 players, maybe 20 1 week, but between 20 and 21 players out of 22 players available for selection. So no matter how good or bad those players are, you're constantly striving to do better because you're competing against someone else. When you're competing against someone else, I always need to be on my game, and I need to be fit. I need to be healthy. I need to be able to constantly improve and impress and perform and play well. If I don't, I'm not going to play. And then it's like if there's that constant battle between the two, well, you're constantly going to keep getting better and better. And then it's not like if you don't have that competition, you're not going to play as well. But having that competition is what will help you improve. That's what you need. You need to have that competition. And so, like I said, the reason why we're sitting where we're sitting is because we have so many players to choose from, and we're fit, we're healthy. Again, touch wood, like we're strong, solid individuals, and we have a strong, solid squad. It's a squad of players that's going to get you a championship. It's not going to be one individual. Sure, the striker scores 9 goals in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. What's he scored so far? One of our strikers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's like 7 or 8 goals in the first 5 rounds. So like he's on more than a goal a game. Strikers are going to win you games. Let's say defenders win you championships, but a whole squad is what gets you through that year and gets you to perform better and as you progress. If you want to be part of a deadly squad, you got to have deadly players, but you've got to have deadly players who play. They can be as good as you want. They're not going to get you anywhere if you don't have anything if you don't have them playing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a good place to end it. We're on almost an hour here.
Nice.
Where can people find you? Watch your free kicks that may or may not hit the wall. Get your program.
So we're at Coach Carly with the 3 eyes on Instagram, just solely Instagram. I'm making a couple of changes with the program coming up. So if you click on the link, it may not work. I'm changing a couple of things. You can still get that free ebook. So download that free ebook. There's plenty of info and details and free stuff on that. Like that's going to be an awesome way for you to help benefit yourself, whether it's in football or just becoming an athlete in general. So check that out, Matty. Where's everyone going to find you?
Yeah, Score Performance, SKAAR Performance everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, I guess Twitter. I'm on there somewhere. YouTube, wherever. Link in the bio if you want to get on the speed or the strength program. We've had some good results, even just 2.5 weeks into 16-week program. Academy players with some really good results, and some players outside of academies as well. So professionals getting into it. So it'll be a good time if you want to make a change. There we go. All right, everybody. Appreciate you listening if you made it this far, and we'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.